In today's video, we're going to be going over some fragrances that you don't need to overspray in order to get some decent all-day long longevity out of them. These are the type of scents that will last from when you spray them on in the morning up until you get home later on in the day without having to go with 20 or 25 sprays or something excessive, and you really don't need to, refresh these throughout the day either. So we're going to go through these one by one here. I'm going to actually put links to all of these down below in the description if you want to do some shopping at discounters. Also, make sure you subscribe to my mailing list. I haven't mentioned it in a while, but we're posting great deals there all the time. New fragrance releases hitting discounters, rare fragrances coming into stock, and just really good deals in general. It's completely free to sign up, and we don't spam you either. We send out maybe one email a week. If even that, sometimes a little bit less, maybe sometimes a bit more if there's some good stuff, but it's really a good resource that you should be using if you want to save some money and get some cool things. Now, this first one is going to be Armani Code. This is the Eau de Parfum. Of course, this is the updated version. They give us 3 notes: tonka bean, nutmeg, and orange. The easiest way to describe this one is Armani Code Profumo. Everybody remembers that one. Iconic, it's classic. It was very, very popular along with Armani Code Absolu. Code Profumo came first and it blew up first. And then Code Absolu was released, several years later and did really well also. But Code Profumo is a little bit more dusty, a little bit more powdery, basically very tonka bean focused. It does kind of have a bit of a fizzy cola / root beer type of smell. That's how Code Profumo has always been described, and that carries over into this. So this is kind of something that Armani has been doing, where they're making changes for good or for bad. That's going to be up to you to decide, but what they're really doing is mostly changing names and changing bottles. They're trying to move everything over. So they were trying to get rid of the old Armani Code style bottle in favor of these. So they discontinued Armani Code, Profumo, and Absolu, and they're essentially re-releasing them back into this lineup. Same thing with Aqva de Jo. For whatever reason, they discontinued Profumo, but then they just relabeled it Parfum in a different name and bottle. So that's just something they've been doing. So again, this is essentially Code Profumo with a couple minor tweaks. It's not 100% exact. Something like Aqva de Jo Profumo to Parfum, that one is very, very close, nearly indistinguishable. But this one here, it deviates a tiny bit, not a lot, but just a little, where if you've smelled it enough, you would be able to tell. But it is a really nice powdery, sweet, kind of warm and spicy scent with great performance as well. All right, now we're gonna go for Lattafa. This one is Teriaq Intense. It has plum liquor, saffron, cinnamon, and amber. It smells really, really good. Sweet, gourmand, warm, sexy, inviting, a little bit spicy as well, but not over the top. And to me, and the way I've described this is, it's kind of what Lattafa Camera should have been. Now, that's of course, Camera is good. I still like that one, but I don't find it to be nearly as wearable as something like this. I think this is a much more approachable scent, more wearable, more versatile, probably more mass-pleasing because of all of those things that we just mentioned. It's not as over-the-top as Camera. Camera, it has the dates accord, it has the boozy sweetness, does smell a little bit like Kilian's Angel Share, and this one, therefore, kind of goes in that direction too, but it's not as over the top. It's a little bit more balanced, a little bit more refined, a little bit more polished, I would say, and also slightly more mature. They're both still very sweet in that regard, but this one, due to the nature of it, is a little bit more grown-up smelling compared to the overly, sickeningly sweet Camera. And so for me, now that this is a thing and I've worn it, it's one that I would take over Camera. It's one that I would find myself reaching for more, wearing more, and just getting more use out of in general. And this one got pretty popular right out of the gate. I don't know why. I think it probably because of that comparison and just the hype started to build. But, if you're on the fence, I would probably go for this one here. Maybe get them both. You might like Camera better if you want something that is more over the top. But if you're really prioritizing versatility and mass appeal, this might be the safer option for you, but also a great performer as well. Camera is, and yet so is this one. So you're not really sacrificing performance or longevity or projection there with this. This is going to be an all day long type of scent, and that will really hold up well when it's cold outside. All right, now we're going to go for one from Intelligent. This one is H2O. So this comes in at an Eau de Parfum, and it is nearly spot on identical to Invictus Aqva 2016 / 2024 refresh. But this was put out before the 2024 refresh. It was put out after the 2018. And so essentially what they were trying to accomplish with this was to go back to the roots of Invictus Aqva 2016, when we currently didn't really have another option available from the brand at the time. So with my code CHAOS10, this is going to come in right at $70. It's an eau de parfum concentration. Invictus Aqva has an EDT, and it's going to be around $100 right now. So you could save about 30 bucks by going this direction. And again, it is pretty much identical, to the point where if you're spraying them side by side, it would be really, really tough to tell them apart. And again, just to reiterate, this is going after the 2016, not the 2018 refresh that they put out for a while that kind of deviated away from that. You know, this has that very sharp, strong, punchy, and kind of synthetic approach to that 2016 smell that we know of. You know, it's very a direct smelling scent. Invictus Aqva 2016 is, and that's what they did with this one as well. This is the type of thing that's going to last all day long. Very strong performance, just like Aqva 2016 and just like Aqva 2024. The new 2024 refresh is beast mode as well. So it's just kind of a matter of, you know, do you want to go all the way with $100? Do you want to save maybe 30 bucks and go for this one and get something that's going to be very, very close? Maybe you might even end up preferring this. Maybe you'll still prefer Invictus Aqva, but it's just something to look into. These have been really impressive. They have a great Dolce & Gabbana The One impression as well, which kind of focuses more on some of the heavier, richer notes and is much better performing at a Parfum concentration, I believe 22%. That one's really good. I did a video on it, but this is another one that really caught my eye because you guys know I'm an Invictus Aqva lover, and they hit the nail on the head with this one here. Again, CHAOS10, 10% off everything on their website, which will make this one at about $70, which for an EDP is a great price, especially for what you get. This next one is Mancera Intense Cedrat Boise. We've got niche for $85 to $90 here. It's all about the fruits off the top. You get right into the woods as it starts to settle, and a little bit of a sweetness. It's a sweet, fruity, woody scent. This is going to be best for spring, fall, winter, and maybe summer evenings. You know, wouldn't be my choice for daytime use, but in the evenings when it's starting to cool off and the sun's going down, this would be a phenomenal choice. This is kind of an interesting one because it's a little bit playful, coming from that fruitiness, but at the same time, it has a little bit of a mature and refined aspect just from all of the woods that they're using as well. So it kind of is a little bit of a middle ground here, which I've always loved because it's very, very usable. Dressed up, dressed down. Again, I listed off the seasons there and kind of the temperature ranges. It's one that you can spend less than $100 on, and you can wear it for essentially any situation. This is the intense version, of course, so it's an extrait concentration. It is better performing than the EDP, especially from what I hear these days. The EDP has been reformulated. Allegedly, I haven't tried new bottles of it, so I'm just going off of what I've heard. So the Intense might be the way to go for you. I know for me, in terms of smell, I prefer the Intense. You know, I don't have any performance issues with my EDP bottles, but they're older. But I just like this based off of smell alone, and the added performance is, of course, a nice bonus as well. This next one is Armani Stronger With You Absolutely. Going to be another all-day performer here. You know, this is going to have the chestnut, the tonka bean, and then, of course, that rum accord. That's what separates this from Intensely and the original and every other scent, basically. Even the Parfum doesn't have this rum boozy accord, whereas this one does. Simplest way to put it is it makes it a little bit more mature. Now, it's still very much a sweet, kind of playful smelling scent, but it steers it in that direction at least a little bit. Because this is the Absolute version in the lineup, you know, this is the Parfum. So the original's the EDT, Intensely is an EDP, Absolutely is a Parfum here. So it has really, really good performance both in projection and longevity, always has, and this is a newer bottle here too, and this one also still has really strong performance. It's going to be all day long. Hit yourself with a couple sprays in the morning and you're going to be good. You don't have to worry about it. Let's keep it moving with one of my all-time favorite niche fragrances. We have Kilian Straight to Heaven. Has cedar, patchouli, rum, and some vanilla in here. Smells absolutely breathtaking. This is a work of art. It really is. You know, if you want one of the most realistic, rich, full-bodied wearing experiences you could get for like a boozy type of scent, this is at the very top of the list for me. I mean, out of everything that I have, and out of all of the Kilian fragrances too, which if I step aside, those are all Kilians right there. and they're stacked too. So there's quite a few back there. I have most of them, not all of them. Some of the new ones I'm missing, but I've got a lot of them. And what started that obsession was this. You know, this wasn't a blind buy for me. This was actually a sample that I got years and years ago after hearing about the hype. And it was an immediate love, okay, along with apple brandy. That one actually kind of started off my obsession too. This and apple brandy, both were samples. And from there, it was downhill. I mean, collecting all of them. I even have Straight to Heaven Extreme, which is very hard to get. And I also have Straight to Heaven Oud and Musk Special Blend. Both of those I got, you know, after release, to where I had to really track them down, and it was a pain. That just shows my dedication. I love this stuff. And so this one here, again, to me, absolute work of art, and it has great performance as well. This, again, is just the regular version here. Strong performer all day long. Projection is softer. It's more of an intimate style scent to me, but in terms of actual longevity or lasting power, it does last. So that's good. Don't buy this if you're wanting like room-filling projection, but if you want something that's going to leave a nice trail behind you and last a long time, this is it. This is, again, if you like boozy scents and you don't have this, you need it. This next one is going to be Tumi Awaken Distilled. We have amberwood, cedarwood, patchouli, and lavender. Really like this. The original Awaken is good. I think if you're going to purchase one, you're better off getting this. It's a little bit more money up front, but to me, it's a better product. I oftentimes find that to be the case with Parfum concentrated flankers, which that's what this is. You're paying a little bit more, but I think you're getting a much better product most of the time, and that's also the case here. You know, it's not a groundbreaking scent by any means. It's something that is kind of a little bit of a familiar smell, but it's still different. It doesn't smell exactly like one thing or another. It just more so fits into a certain category. If you wanted to put it into a category, maybe think like the YSL Y category, maybe the Ralph's Club category a little bit. But again, it's not a clone of Y. It's not a clone of Ralph's Club. It's still different, but it does have a nice kind of soapy, clean, masculine freshness about it with a bit of a twist too. And this Parfum is super strong. Not to mention, this is kind of a not factored into my overall evaluation, but the bottle is my favorite. This and 19 Degree are my two favorites in the lineup. It's the color mixed with that slight gradient with the red up top and the red distilled. It looks really good, especially in person. This is really cool stuff. Kind of getting towards the end of the video here with Bulgari Aqva. This is the marine flanker. Currently, the only flanker from the line you can get. Okay, so all that you can buy right now is the original Aqva and Aquamarine. Every other flanker, and you know, that's including all the tonics and stuff, are discontinued and no longer available. And to me, when I see that, I just kind of think that this one probably isn't far behind. I could be wrong, and I hope I am, but it just seems that way. It seems like for whatever reason, Bulgari has let this line just go to waste. And you know, maybe I'm missing something. It could just be, you know, for a number of reasons that are out of their control or something that, you know, isn't working out. But to me, they had something great with this lineup. Amara, Atlantique, two of the best. And so that kind of sucks. I get discontinuing those, but give us a few new flankers or something. I think that they could bring this back to life, and with that pre-established hype built into some of those older releases, and if they were to put out a flanker, I think it would do really well. I mean, they brought back Bulgari Man in Black Parfum, or they released that out of nowhere, you know, after not touching Man in Black for years. So maybe there is hope, I don't know. But this one is a little bit brighter and fresher than Bulgari Aqva. You know, I can understand where the Aqva version, the original one, might be a little bit too much. A strong seaweed and very realistic smelling aquatic. This one is still following that footstep, but more of a floral take and just brighter and fresher overall. Also, really cool bottle too. These bottles are horrendous for storage because they lay like this. Now, sometimes you can get them with a tester and a plastic stand, so they'll kind of sit like this. But the stand takes up a lot of room on the base and it doesn't really help a ton, but that's usually how they are. It sucks for storage. However, they do look cool, and especially this coloration is really nice. Last up for this video, we have Gucci Guilty. This is the absolute version. It has leather and woods. Take one good look at the color, okay? This is your warning. See how dark that stuff is? What would you think that this color would smell like, okay? Think that through, and then, you know, then make your decision. Basically what I'm saying is a lot of people have gotten themselves in trouble with this because they buy it blindly and don't like it. okay? Very strong leather, a lot of woods. It's kind of animalic in a little bit of a way, and kind of earthy, and just very, very different. You know, almost like, I don't know, people have compared it to smelling like tires. You know, like if you walk into a tire store, just that overwhelming rubber smell of new tires. This kind of has maybe just a touch of that. That's a good way to put it. It's not exact, but just to give you an idea of what you're in for here, just think of that, okay? So not for everybody, but if you want something unique, this is it. And if you want something that's going to last all day long, this is definitely it. There's a ton of substance to this. And again, there's really nothing else besides leather and woods. I mean, there's no citrus, there's nothing like that. So definitely a different scent, but is a good fit for this video. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fragrances that you could spray on and have them last all day long without, you know, dousing yourself. Like I said, I will put links down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my mailing list as well. It's free. We're posting deals there, you know, again, on a weekly basis or so. Really, really good stuff. I made a page on my website, which I'll link down below as well, to where we update that page daily. And so that's gonna have all the deals and stuff that are currently best as well. So that's another spot you can go and see what's going on. A lot of really cool stuff. And with all of the good new fragrance releases that were just dropped here recently, designers, at some point those are gonna start popping up on discounters below retail, and you're gonna wanna know about it so you can buy them before they sell out. So again, get on my mailing list and we'll let you know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.